All right, here we go. Here's our supervisor dog, Jason, who's going to help us do a video today, right, bud? Yes, okay. We're going to try to do 3 videos back to back. I hate the energy and time and wasted time of editing videos. And my software, I have Photoshop, which is fantastic, except it doesn't like to work with GoPro. Actually, it loves GoPro. It's just that YouTube doesn't love the format that comes out of Photoshop. Enough said. Okay, we're looking at the project that a few have seen on public videos. Mostly it's gone privately to the client, but this is going to go public partly because that's the only way I can make sure that it gets up and viewable by my client, and also because a number of people have paid attention to this crazy project and have a little interest in it. What I'm going to do is show you now kind of 3 steps. One of them will be, I'll walk through and talk through the pieces that you see in front of you here, which are, believe it or not, this looks like a junk pile. It is the finished pieces of the final product, unless we find yet another drawback that we haven't seen yet. But I think we're there. I think we're there. Just for the fun of it, though, I want to look at a little pile of junk over here that is just some, probably half or so of the odds and ends of pieces that we've gone through to figure out where we were going. My client is a brilliant designer, and yeah, I'll butter him up a little bit now and again, but for a valid reason. The guy knows so much stuff that it's amazing to find a teacher who pays you. That's backwards, but I love it. And hopefully he loves what I'm doing for him. This is just stuff. I mean, we had ideas that seemed just genius at the time and kind of worked a little bit. Didn't even try to make it pretty, because at some point I was really just trying to figure out what the hell is going to work. But a couple of things finally dawned on me. This is a piece that I love dearly. It was a wonderful bowl until I cut these holes in it for what we thought was going to be a useful piece in the finished product. We tried different lighting. Adequate lighting for certain situations, not quite what I wanted for this product. And a stand with gas flowing through it that was going to lead to the fire, and so on and so forth. You don't need to see all of that. That's probably half of the junk. Here's a piece of junk that turned out to be really functional. It was actually one of the first things that we elected to use, and it is still going to be one of the pieces in the final product. In this, by the way, you'll see in the 3rd and final video that this ring of LED lighting will give it a nice, I have it set at a blue light, but it's variable. We can turn it with this little remote controller, we can turn it to a variety of light settings and intensity and whatnot. So it gives us some options. When it's finished and on site, they can do what they feel is best. But this kind of other pile of miscellaneous junk, except for this base is a temporary component to establish the bottom of the cauldron where it will sit. This will go into a 48-inch diameter cast iron cauldron that was discovered on site where this will wind up. And they'll use it. It's already got a hole drilled in it with a 3/4 outlet. And by the way, here's a component to mention right now. Due to my own, I'm not questioning the owner's ability to measure. I'm questioning my ability to predict precisely where the flame should wind up. We need to have a component that reaches up out of the water. That's this piece right here. And does not allow water to get back down through and into the incoming, because we'll have to push out a ton of water every time we turn the gas on, which is just ridiculous. This piece here we'll talk about a little later. This is, we'll talk about it later. That's got an interesting, in fact, it was one of the final things that I did for some flexibility. And I built this so that everything can move up and down. Only a little bit, maybe only a 1/2 inch maximum, but that should be all we need. But I wanted that base plate to be movable. I wanted the holder upper thing, that's the technical term for this tripod device. And I wanted as little viewable from on top of the water as possible, hence these little narrow, yeah, I think you can see, little narrow pieces that this bowl will sit on top of. All of this I'll explain in a bit, because this piece comes up and through the bowl, and I didn't like it. Ugly as sin. In fact, a lot of this is all ugly as sin right now. I grant you that. The finished product is underwater and at night with a flame coming out of it. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, certainly I'd like it to be a little more refined, but I got to a point where we had a working piece, and I thought to go back and make everything precisely refined and gorgeous and then bury it underwater didn't make a lot of sense. Ultimately, my idea is that this piece will cap it all off so that that will be virtually what you see up out of the water. The water line will just be, you can almost see a darker line here. That's kind of the carbon line where the flame is leaking over and above the water. So we're going to have a very low profile of anything showing out of the water. All right, I'm going to stop. I think that's all I'm going to do right now. The next step is I'm going to go through an assembly process, which is partly to show the owner and anybody on site how we want this thing to go together. It's very simple, except for the first time, it probably won't be. I had to write it all down. In fact, I will supply with the piece when they pick it up. I'll print up and type up and print out a procedure for putting this together. All right, I'm going to shut up for now, and I'm going to try to link 3 of these videos together. The final one, I might wait till tonight to shut off all the lights in the shop, or I'll light the whole thing up and let you see what it's going to look like. All right, that's it for now. Take care.